So as we record it, it's facilitation week this week, right? And so I'm thinking, let's go back to actual why facilitation? Why, Svenari, would anybody think that they need somebody like us to come and facilitate something?
It's for me, that's a kind of into that classical discussion and who you are as a facilitator. Are you too tied into what you're driving at? I mean, good old discussion. The leader as a facilitator, if you're too invested, you might not actually be able to help the group in a meaningful way.
Yeah. I don't think facilitators have to be like us, but there is. That's the thing, isn't it? It's when you're involved, when you're a content person, when you're involved deeply with the matter at hand, then it's very hard to take a step outside of that and focus on the group process and how everyone involved with that is going on a bit of a journey around that content. And so what a facilitator does is attends to the group and the people, which then would allow that leader or whoever to then talk about their content bit in the middle of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm sensing. I mean, if you go too far out, like you would get a facilitator who's disengaged, who doesn't care. I mean, you need to be engaged within it, but because you could get in all sorts of trouble if you're too invested, because the group could start asking, so why is he asking those questions? Is he leading us in a specific direction? And then you'd get distrust, right? But if you get too far laid back, then you don't help the group at all.
So I think for me, it's about how that the facilitator's investment is in the people and their process. As I guess the foundation on which that outcome, those decisions are based on, and in supporting that group to go through that process the best way that it can. And I think building on what you're saying, if there's a leader who facilitates as well, for the other people in that group, as you were saying, when that leader tries to facilitate, they might be double thinking what that leader's saying, why they're saying that. Even if that leader is able to say, oh, I'm doing this role now, this role later. So I think that's for me why having that separate independent facilitator helps, because it allows the leader to step in and say, now look, I do care about the outcome. This is important to me. I'm going to share what I think, but I'm also going through this process with you, and it may not end up the way that I expect it to. But here's what I think, I mean, there are hard questions around boundary setting and goals, but again, that's what helps good facilitation before it gets into the room to really understand that the field of play for the folk. What's the conclusion of all this, Svenari?
Well, I enjoyed this discussion. It reminds me that I'm in that situation like this now. So I'm going to have a conversation with one of my facilitators about this because of both how hard it is to just step out of that role. So I think it's be mindful of this, be clear on this when you set the goal for the whole thing. And then when you design the whole process, just be mindful of this and see where it leads to, but don't fall into the trap to get too disengaged because you worry too much about your eagerness to get to an outcome.